everything without offending. So now my mouth is in the jailhouse with cases pending. First Amendment, you replaced it, rigged it, dumbed it down. It's not an option. Some of it I understand. Took power from me.
SMT Nation, we back. We've got a big developing story apparently. This is something that is happening today. There should be a formal announcement to the team over at Verizon, but according to a report internal at Verizon, the CEO, Hans Vestberg, is going to make an announcement to a return to Verizon 1.0. All right, so what exactly does this mean? All right, what does it mean for Verizon? What does it mean for Verizon customers? What does it mean for the industry? I will tell you guys, I don't really know what this means. I honestly do not. Verizon 2.0, which is essentially the Hans Vestberg era, right, is a term that was born of and created by Hans Vestberg himself. There was never truly an era that was dictated or described as Verizon 1.0. It's essentially known as Verizon 1.0 because it predates Hans. So Hans brought in his era, calling it, Verizon 2.0. And then just recently, in the last month or so, Hans dubbed the movement, forward in the future as Verizon 2.3, off of the year 2023 being this new era. And, that's kind of what this is. It's more of a timeline than anything, but this is not a real thing. The Verizon 2.3, Verizon 2.0, this Hans era, and the things that predate him, known as Verizon 1.0, these are not like real things. These are eras that are just dubbed and created by Hans as the CEO. All right, now when you think back to the old Verizon in their heyday, in their renaissance period, you think about the CEOs, Denny Striegel, and then after Denny, with Lowell McAdam. These are eras that predate Hans, in which the company was different. So under the Denny Striegel era, all right, it was an interesting culture that was going on at Verizon. The way that things happened, the way that things were executed, decisions were made. Denny Striegel as a true leader. The company was apolitical. The company was focused on network leadership and network as a differentiator. The Bell Atlantic fundamentals, the network differentiation piece. And then moving forward with Lowell McAdam as the following CEO, wanting and needing to evolve, bringing in outside voices and outside people. The failures in the auctions for Spectrum, forcing them to have to go in a new network route with cell splitting and, looking at media and wasting time and wasting money and efforts that had nothing to do with the network. And then the Hans era, the new era, he came in with this me against, you're with me or against me attitude. What has really happened at the company since then? And we've seen faces change at Verizon. Tammy Irwin out at the business side. Manon coming in for the consumer segment to replace, Ronan Dunn, who was basically blamed for what happened what is happening with the consumer side. Yet and still, Hans is here. And I say all this because, there's this timeline of events. Verizon 1.0 predating Hans, Verizon 2.0 as Hans, and then 2.3 moving forward. I don't know what Verizon is going to do. I have no clue internally what this means. To me, these are just baseless claims. They're just names, right? You can call things what you want. You put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. You could put names to things, but materially, what's going to change at Verizon? I don't know. Do they want to return to their glory years as network leaders? I thought that was what they were doing anyway. What are you going to do here that's going to change the trajectory of the company if you think something that is wrong at the company, right? Is the board disgruntled with Hans? It would appear so. Do they want to see things change in some ways? I'm sure there are some things they want to see change. If you look at the investor side of things, you look at the stock price, it's down as low as it's ever been, in recent history. I mean, when Hans came into the company, I think the stock value was in the 50s. Currently, today it stands in the high 30s. There's losses. even when you compare it to the rest of the market, which is down, 25%, their number is worse, right? And meanwhile, the T-Mobile stock has improved, and it seems like AT&T is on the right track, and they've stabilized their company after their own missteps with media and Time Warner and all of that. So I say all this to kind of wrap up this video. I don't know what this return to Verizon 1.0 represents. I'm not inside at Verizon. I don't know these people personally. I'm not there watching how they move. I don't know. I don't know Hans. I don't know these executives at Verizon. I never claimed to be. I'm a bystander. I'm on the outside looking in. But what appears to be the case for me is Verizon is throwing anything and everything at the wall and hoping that something sticks. And I don't know what this means. A Verizon, I don't know. Does that mean that engineers are going to be happier? Does it mean that the retail is going to see a revamp? Are they going to become, a better run company? I don't know. What do we see? We see store closing. We see layoffs. We see price hikes. I mean, all I know is what I see. I will continue to monitor the story. We'll see if it actually has a tangible change. We'll try to figure out what it means. But for the time being, this is a nothing burger. What is 1.0? We don't know. And if it doesn't go public, if it doesn't become a public identity, then what does it really matter? It's happening internally. It doesn't impact us. So we don't know. All right, again, I'm not inside at Verizon. I don't know the executive operations. I'm not at these meetings. I don't know the things that they say, and I don't know the decisions they make. But I can tell you on the outside looking in, I don't see anything tangible or material here that indicates any directional changes or movements. I simply don't know. All I see is faces are changing, Hans is moving people around, and things are pretty much the same. Right? We don't see things changing, really, just faces. I'll leave it there. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions on this. You all are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Like, share, and subscribe for more. And turn on that bell notification icon to never miss an upload. Links are in the description for all things going on with the channel. Big shout out to the members. Thank you for supporting the SMT as well as the patrons. You guys are the GOATs. Thank you all so very much. And I'll leave you words of positivity here. Every day is a new day to do something great, so go out there and be great. Thanks for watching. See you all on the next one. Peace.